Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Otome.com podcast, where we dive into the world of visual novels, romance, and everything we love about Otome games. I am Sweet Pixel,
And I'm Morik.
and today we're joined by Korina, who will take us to the magical world of Shattered Souls. Today we're going to explore what it means to build intimacy, to heal, and to fall in love in a realm filled with gods, demons, and unexpected betrayals. And Karina, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about your role in developing this game?
Hi, yeah, it's amazing to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your wonderful podcast, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you. I'm Korina, and I'm the founder of Eternal Love Studios. And as for my role, I wear many hats in development. For Shattered Souls, I'm currently the author, programmer, casting director, audio engineer, and I write some of the lyrics and basic melodies for the featured songs.
So something like an indie dev yourself, I could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is that I genuinely think that is really impressive to be able to do all of those things.
Thank you, but I could not do it without my incredible team. I've got such an amazing team that helps bring the games to life, and I just couldn't do this without them. So I'm so very grateful to them too.
Now, I've personally played the demo of Shattered Souls, and I have to say I had a roller coaster of emotions. In the story, we follow Celeste as she navigates through a magical and unfamiliar world. So,
Mhm.
could you please tell us a little bit more about the story?
Yeah, so thank you so much for playing the demo. Shattered Souls is a dark fantasy isekai Otome game about a girl named Celeste. And, she suffers this horrible betrayal by the person that she loves and, trusted the most, and it ends up fracturing her soul. But before she can completely break apart, she's whisked away to this other world Remor, and, her journey to love and revenge starts there. And it's going to be a wild ride. Very excited about it, though.
I think that straight from the beginning, the story really spoke out to me, especially with the line that Gaia says. So, isn't loving too much? It hurts and it's used against you in the worst ways. That spoke to me directly. I felt like this was targeted at me because I know exactly
May,
how that can
may I
feel.
just add,
Yeah.
Gaia is very good at being convincing.
Yes.
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 She
agree.
almost had me. I was sure it's
too.
going to be a bad ending, so I didn't accept the deal. But she almost had me.
Well,
She is very manipulative, extremely manipulative character, but
true.
there's a lot of growth with her too. I'm really looking forward to delving more into Evren's story as well.
I think the thing that actually made me not pick her is because that Maris didn't want anything in return, and Gaia was like, "Give me your soul, and I promise I'll give you this." When Maris was like, "I don't want anything. I'm giving you an opportunity to continue your life." So I was like, Gaia, I think she said something along the lines of, why would she follow you? And my thought process was, well, at least he doesn't want to have my soul.
Yes.
So I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And even later on
Oh.
in the game, I really liked the demo. So I would like to play the full game as well.
Thank you. Well, we'll be releasing the game by 2026 and hopefully sooner. We're working really hard to get it out there as quickly as possible for everyone because we're so excited to share this story. It's got so many plot twists and just it's an emotional roller coaster ride, but we're very excited about it.
Me too. So now for the love interests. From what I understand, Shattered Souls features 7 different love interests, each of whom is just as broken as our protagonist, Celeste. I'm curious, where do these characters come from? Were they perhaps based on real people or were they completely imagined?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, there are 7 love interests in the main game, and there's a very specific reason for this number. I won't go into exact details on why that is because that's pretty spoilery, but I will say that they each play crucial roles in Celeste's healing journey and vice versa. The characters themselves have evolved so much over the course of development, but each one of them came to me on their own and were not based on real people or circumstances. They were created for this world, and their journeys and purposes came to life, as I learned more about the Shattered Souls universe. I will say that the only characters that will be based on real people are from our amazing backers who have chosen to be isekai'd into the game, and that's only if they want to isekai themselves into the game. So everyone else is from imagination.
After getting myself introduced to most of the characters, it really sounds like there's a lot of depth to them. And since we're focusing on romance today, I want to talk about how intimacy is portrayed in Shattered Souls. We know the game is more than just romance, it's about building genuine connection. Can you share with us your approach to creating intimacy in the story? Is it perhaps through physical touch, through emotional conversations, or maybe something even deeper?
And I may ramble a bit here as I try to explain my test to you. I apologize in advance. In real life, there are various types of love languages that people use and that come naturally when building relationships. I thought this same approach and mindset was important and brought it to Shattered Souls. So each of the connections that are created in Shattered Souls are unique to the characters themselves, and the journey and process of growing their relationship it's different for each character. There's so much symbolism in this game, so much trauma in this game, and each of the characters has a very in-depth past and a traumatic past that they are having to work through themselves, and that actually kind of goes into and plays a big part of their intimacy and helps grow the relationships and the bond between Celeste and these characters. And the love interests, it's built around the traumas and the healings and the brokenness, and learning to move on and learning to accept themselves and learning to grow within themselves, not just as not in a relationship like, hey, we're going to, you're going to heal me, because that's just not how it works. It's more of like a partnership of, we're going to heal together type situation.
I think it's done in a very beautiful way, at least from what I've read until this point, of how the game, I can feel how the game is trying to intertwine intimacy with the character's personal journey of healing and romance. And speaking of
Yes.
intimacy, how will the intimacy grow between Celeste and the love interest?
I think the growths of the relationships are going to vary depending on the story and the love languages that they have, because every character has a different dynamic with Celeste and a different love language that they express to each other. So the players are going to be able to experience many different styles of relationship building depending on the route that they choose and the choices that they make, because it does make an impact. I will say again that, the one consistent dynamic that plays a very pivotal role in each of their love stories is the fact that they are broken and healing. And that is going to be a major, just a major focus in many of their routes.
What would you say was the most fun part of working on it, especially with such deep themes?
I love all of the aspects of development. I've really loved working on this game. It's been an amazing journey so far, and we still have a very long way to go. We've been working on Shattered Souls for about 2 years now already, and I feel that getting to know the characters intimately and being able to experience their world and watch it come to life has just been so fulfilling for me. Our incredible artist Salsha just brings these characters, she just brings out the best in these characters visually, and she really understands them and has brought them to life in like such a perfect way. So I love watching her creative process, and it's such a surreal experience to see the characters, that you envision in your mind as an author just come to life for the first time. So I'm very grateful to her, so grateful for the entire team, and the whole story come to life really just means the world to me. But if I'm going to be completely honest, releasing the demo and watching other people experience Shattered Souls and fall in love with the characters is like the biggest joy to me. I created and founded Eternal Love Studios to help give people a break and to help people escape. And I love being able to help people retreat into another world for a short time, because reality can just get so heavy and it can get so hard to process through emotions and process through all kinds of different difficult things that are going on in life. And so just kind of getting out of that reality, it's always helped me. And so, I want to help other people. And so when I'm watching streams and I'm reading comments on the demo and seeing other people excited, it just really warms my heart that I'm able to help people escape for just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why I became such a big fan of reading webtoons or manga or playing visual novels, because of that experience and the fact that these stories can take you away for a little bit. Exactly what you were saying just now.
The escapism that they bring.
The escapism that they bring, exactly.
Yes, I feel it's very important that we be able to escape some, and that we be able to to take a break, because it can get so hard in life. And life has absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful and gorgeous moments that there's always sunshine in life too, but throughout those difficult times, having a form of escapism, I think, is very, very important.
So my next question is, can you tell us something about some of the potential endings?
Oh, that's hard without spoiling anything.
Maybe a bit of spoiler.
I'll say this. Shattered Souls is a puzzle that only when completed will you see the full picture. So, those of you who do not like bad endings, I apologize. The story is filled with symbolisms, and the endings in the main game are going to be very, very important for this reason. There's a purpose for each ending, and some of the endings are actually slightly tied to future DLCs. I'll also say this in advance. Have your tissue boxes ready, and not just for specific endings. And before you curse me, know that I, as the author, have bawled like a baby for a good 20 minutes straight throughout various parts of the game as I was writing it. This is the first that I've ever written that I've had to take breaks to collect myself on specific scenes. And so prepare yourself, but I promise it's well worth it.
Okay, well, I'm definitely a very emotional person, so I think I will definitely cry if it's going to be a sad ending. But that's okay. That's okay.
Not every ending's gonna be a sad ending.
Yeah, not
Well,
every
I
ending's
mean,
a sad
even
ending.
if it's sad, it doesn't mean it's bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's good ending. I promise you, there's good endings in every single route, and there's bad endings, but they each have their purpose. And so for those who don't like bad endings, I definitely recommend just using a walkthrough and just maybe skipping through it or something. I'm not sure.
So, can you tell us something more exclusive about the characters?
This isn't something that we've mentioned to our backers yet. It's not something that we've mentioned to anybody quite yet, but there is very symbolic meaning behind the reason why we chose 7 love interests for the game. And like I mentioned, there's going to be so much symbolism in Shattered Souls, and so many Easter eggs and different things and plot twists for you to figure out, but we will spoil this one for those who want to hear it. So, bit of a spoiler alert. The 7 routes are connected with the 7 stages of grief. So each and every relationship dynamic route itself is going to deal with a different stage of grief and a different healing journey. And so that's why we chose as many love interests as we did, and it helps make it a lot more dynamic. And we're very, very excited. There of course will be bleed throughs between the different stages, and it's not necessarily going to go in the exact order of the step by step, these are the stages of grief, but each one will be addressed in the game through the healing journey. And so Celeste and how she processes grief is also going to be different throughout the various routes. So you might find yourself, I know there's many people that are like, hey, don't let her let go of that anger and that revenge and that need for that, which she's definitely going to be wanting to get revenge. But her responses may be a bit different depending on where she's at emotionally.
Thank you for sharing this with us. Something came to mind. So I mentioned that I'm really torn between the characters Maris, Carver, and the eternal mysterious being. Is
Mhm.
there a character that you've noticed people are more drawn to from people who've played the game?
Okay, people who have played the game, it seems, and that's really hard to say. But it seems that many people lean towards Carver, which is completely understandable, especially with the demo. And I adore Carver. He's their backstory and their history. Oh, it's so angsty. I love it. But I'd say Carver is definitely one that people seem to love. Morris, he gets mixed. I'm not really sure. I see a lot of people loving him, and then I see a lot of people being like, "Oh no, he went way too far with that intro." So we'll have to see on that one. And the Eternal, I have seen a lot of people expressing interest in the Eternal and the mystery behind him. And then as far as the internal team with ELS, Morris is a favorite, and Carver, I believe.
We talked a bit about some of the characters, but now I think it's time for me to ask who is your favorite character and why? Because I'm sure they all hold a special place for you, but is there one that just stands out just a bit more than the rest?
Oh, I love every single one of the characters that we have in Shattered Souls, even those crazy psychotic ones that we have coming up. If I'd have to choose though, I'd say Celeste and Morris. Celeste because I love who she is, her strength, her journey, her resilience, and just all of the processes that she goes through in each of the different routes, and her healing journey throughout each of them is just very interesting to watch, and you find yourself rooting for her. At least I do. And then Morris, I love him for many reasons. And I love every single one of my the love interests, and I love all of their routes. However, I think that the dynamic and the growth that Celeste and Morris have in their story is something that really stuck with me. And so yeah, that's he's my favorite.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to add?
I just like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has played the demo. Thank you to everyone who supported us on our Kickstarter campaign and who has, made this a reality. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to review and leave comments and interact with us. I absolutely adore interacting with everyone and talking with everyone about Shattered Souls and learning about your experiences, and learning personal stories and how Shattered Souls relates to you, or how the characters relate to you. It really warms my heart to be able to know that we're I'm being able to help the players and help you in whatever way that I can. So just a huge thank you, and a thank you to both of you so much for inviting me onto this podcast. I've absolutely loved talking with you both, and getting to share a bit more about Shattered Souls, even though I'm super awkward. I'm sorry.
No, I think we're having a very nice, pleasant conversation. Thank you. And to our listeners, if you're curious to know more about Shattered Souls, you can find the free demo on Steam and support the project on Kickstarter. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Otome.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed today's show. It helps us bring you more amazing guests like Korina. Until next time, keep those hearts open and never stop seeking out love and connection, whether it's in games, stories, or in your own lives. Take care, everyone.